Hello, chosen ones. How are you doing today? I pray that all is well with you. And I wanted to come talk to you all about how to move quicker. You see the title, How to Move Quicker and Faster into Your Purpose. And your purpose is something that has to be discovered. Your purpose is that thing that you were put on this earth to do. You know, that things that make you smile, that thing that makes other people better, the thing that that is calling you to be greater, right? Because some of you all, you're on jobs, and sometimes your job can be purposeful too. And I'm not talking down on anyone who has a job, because I still work, right? And I'm still discovering and walking and moving into what God is calling me to do. But I'm just doing it bolder and quicker. I'm just doing it without knowing all of the the steps. I'm doing it without knowing exactly where I'm headed or exactly where he's taking me. This is a faith walk. This is really walking by faith, okay? And not by sight. I'm walking by faith. I don't see everything, but I know God is calling me for something bigger. This is something I know. And I've learned to embrace that, right? I'm not running from that at all. Let me make sure my Bluetooth is off. From that at all. And I'm finally getting to a place to where, I understand that everything is not going to go and move how I want it to go. Life is not going to bend and do what I want it to do. So I got to just spar with life. I got to go with what life is going to hand me. I have to play, per se, play the cards that is dealt, play the hand that is dealt. That's life. That's life. But what I want to come talk to you about is you can thrive quicker and faster into your purpose when you stop asking for permission. When you stop asking for permission, I know I got my hair all tied up here looking like a little girl. Listen, you can thrive faster and quicker into your purpose when you stop asking people for permission. We have to get out of this mindset of needing and asking for permission, wanting people to affirm and validate what God has put in us. We're so stuck. I used to be like this. I'm talking to myself too. We're so stuck wanting people to, hi Tyrenia, we're so stuck wanting people to affirm and validate and approve what it is that God is telling us to do. I'm not sure why we're like that. I'm not sure why I was like that. But if I had to guess, it would be because I didn't believe fully in myself. I didn't believe in what God was showing me. I didn't believe in the vision and the plan that I saw that God had for my life. I didn't believe it. It was scary to think about what he showed me. Because see, the plans, the vision and purpose God shows some of you all, it's scary because it doesn't look like where you are. It doesn't match. The dreams you have doesn't match where you currently are. It doesn't. Some of y'all don't even have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out. That's what they used to say when I was coming up. Some of you all don't have that. But you know God gave you a vision. And that vision is bigger than where you are, and you don't understand, and you don't see how you're going to get out of your current situation. But if I dare say, that vision is what's going to carry you. That vision, having that vision is what going to get you out of that place of not having a pot to piss in and the window to throw it out of. Sometimes your vision is that very thing that's going to save you. And I'm sorry I had to say it like that, but that's just how it came out. I don't know. I have to learn a little bit of decorum on how I say things, but sometimes it comes out how it comes out. Hi, Jacqueline. So once we learn to operate, right? Once we learn to operate and focusing on our vision, because see, a lot of us are distracted by a lot of things. We're distracted by people. We're distracted by relationships. We're distracted by jobs. We're distracted by religion. We're distracted by what's on the news. We're distracted by our children. We're distracted by a lot of things. And the thing is, we have to learn to get some order. We have to get focused. And I'm not saying that you neglect these things, especially if you got young children. You can't neglect your children. But you can get something in place that's called order. You can get a system in place on how your house is going to be ran, on how things are going to operate so you can focus on your vision. Because you don't need permission. This is the time and place. We're in the time and place in the world where so many opportunities are available to us, but because we're not focused and because we're not doing the work on ourselves, we don't see the opportunities. We don't see it. We have more opportunities than our ancestors had. But guess what? The world wants to keep us so focused on what's going on in the news, what's going on in the media, that we can't even focus on what God has given us to create on this earth. Hi, Dolores. That's okay, dear. We can't focus on our purpose. And you know what? The sad part is a lot of us don't know because we don't seek God how we should. Most of us are seeking religion and we're still broke, busted, and disgusted and can't be trusted. But most of us are not seeking God how we should. So therefore, we can't discover, right? We can't discover what it is, what he put inside of us to do. Some of us, your purpose is what's going to sustain you. Your purpose is what going to bring you joy. Your purpose is what is going to heal you. I can't even talk. Your purpose is going to be that thing that heals you. Because 9 times out of 10, I say 10 out of 10, I'm gonna put myself on a limb here. What you do, what your purpose is to help someone else. Me coming on here sharing my wisdom is helping others, giving them a new perspective. And by way of me coming here talking to you all, it's doing something for me. It's giving me clarity. It's healing me. It's giving me a new way and it's giving me momentum. Like, I can't even tell you guys to have. I can't even tell you all to have. But what I will say is, when you focus on that thing that God put inside of you to do, bold and unashamed, you will see the benefit. That's why most of us be on these jobs and we're so discontent. We're so miserable because we're not working in our purpose. We're not doing things that's helping us help someone else. Some of us are, not all. Some of us are. But you know if this message resonates with you or not. Some of you are doing things that you're working in your purpose and also you're doing the job, you're getting paid for it, and you're happy with it, and that's okay. That's meaningful. But for those of you who are not, that's why you're discontented. That's why you're not happy. And in order to discover your purpose and find out what God put you on this earth to do, you have to commune with him. No one can tell you what that is. No one could tell you exactly what it is that you need to be doing. No one can tell you but God. I can't tell you this is what you should be doing, because God is the only one that knows your life. He's the only one that knows what you've been through in life. He knew you before you were even born. He's the one that known you. He knew you. I can look at and listen to what you tell me and say it's probably this, that, and the other, and I'm guessing. But only he can give you that assurance and tell you what he put you on this earth to do. Yes, only he knows our journey, Jacqueline. That's what I'm saying. And until we get a relationship and commune with him and only him, we're going to always be looking for permission. Asking people, can I be great? Asking people, is it okay if I do this? Asking people, is it okay for me to write this book? Asking people, is it okay for me to sing? Let me tell you all something right now. Any of you who got a talent and a gift that God has given you, if it's singing, if it's whatever, you can get yourself right here on YouTube. You don't need anyone's permission to get on YouTube, turn on your camera, and do what it is that God put in you to do. I don't care if it's cooking, singing, drawing, anything. Technology has removed a lot of the excuses that we used to have. Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Technology has shut down every excuse we want to make for not living at our purpose and showing the world our gifts. Technology, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of those apps. You just find you one. And you get on there and you let the world know and share with the world your gift and what you have to offer. You don't need anybody's permission. You don't need your boss's permission to get on YouTube. You don't need no one's permission to write a book now. You don't need anyone's permission to do anything that you want. I don't need anybody's permission to come on here and share my wisdom, use my voice, encourage people, motivate people. I've always had a gift to talk to people and make them feel like I'm talking to them only. Always been mouthy. So I turned that into sharing my wisdom, sharing my experiences. Come speaking the truth. I've always been truthful, even when it hurts me. Exactly, Rubia. And see, this is another thing. I'm glad you said that, Rubia. Another thing is we have to allow the pain from our past and our afflictions. We have to change the perspective on what we've been through. Whatever you have endured, whatever pain you have endured, what were the lessons from that pain? What wisdom did you gain from that? And you come and you teach someone else. You teach someone else. Don't be ashamed. See, what the world tells us, this world tells us to be ashamed. This world tells us to be ashamed of, and it's the stupidest thing. Because how else you're going to learn? When you know better, you will do better. Because we don't born into this world knowing everything. You have to experience life. This world tells us to be ashamed and try to keep what we went through as a secret. But the word tells us, the word of God tells us, we overcome. We overcome by sharing our testimony. It also says it's good, what Paul was saying. It was good for him that he was afflicted. Something along those lines. I don't have it verbatim. But you got to understand, your life experiences is where your wealth is. I understand this more than ever now. All the stuff that I've been through from a child up until now, that's where my prosperity lies. That's where my wealth is. I used to always tell my children, my mouth is going to make me millions. And I didn't say that with arrogance, and I really didn't understand what I was saying. I just used to say it because they always used to say, Mom, you talk too much. Or, Mom, you know everybody. And they don't say it in a disrespectful way, but they always saying I'm always talking to people, or I always know someone. I was just picking up my daughter just now, and then, I saw a guy there that I knew from my hometown, and we're miles away from my hometown. And she was like, Mom, I don't care where you go. You always gonna find somebody you know. My son just told me that same thing. And at one point in my life, I used to, I won't say used to, at one point in my life, I didn't like, to be honest, I didn't like that I was so friendly. I didn't like that I was so talkative. I talk to anybody. I said it in another video, the dog, the cat, the bird. I'll talk to anyone. But what God was showing me is that that's a gift, and not everybody has that gift. No one, no ethnicity, no race, nationality, creed, physical disability, none of that. None of that won't stop me from talking to a person, making them feel welcome, making them feel like they're heard, making them feel like they're seen. That is a gift, and I embrace that. And I'm learning to cultivate that even more because I've been like that all my life, right? So what my point is, use your affliction, use your pain. What experiences, what wisdom did you gain from what you've been through? Oh, I got a lot of wisdom and insight I can share, and I'm going to be sharing because I've experienced stuff. And people think, the world thinks because you go through hardships or you experience or you've been dealt a bad hand per se, the world sees that as something bad. Like, what did you do? Or they may be cursed or something. We look at that as a bad thing. But the person with the most wisdom is the person who's been through the worst experiences. Because when life happens, there's nothing you can do about it, but there is lessons you can learn. See, a lot of people want the blessings. They want the blessings. They want to be blessed. But they don't want the lessons. They don't want to go through the pain. And regardless, if you haven't experienced my pain, you're going to go through your own pain. You're going to go through your own journey. And it doesn't have to look like mine. It's going to be tailor-made to you. Whatever and see, that's another thing. We try to compare trauma and pain. You don't have to compare your pain to my pain. Because just because your pain doesn't look like my pain, it doesn't mean that it wasn't painful for you. But just because mine was more traumatic, it doesn't mean that my pain was more or less of pain than yours was. Because see, what hurts me may not hurt you. I've been through some things that most people would have unalived themselves because of it. But I've learned that I have to take what I've gone through and I have to use it to my advantage. I have to use it to my advantage. So my point again is you don't need anyone's permission. Your life experiences is your life experience. What you've experienced with people is your experience. No one can take away your experience. So use that to your advantage. Use what you've went through, what you've experienced, to your advantage. What did you learn from your terrible childhood? What did you learn from that? What did you learn from that divorce? What did you learn from getting fired from that job? What did you learn from your prodigal child? What did you learn? What did you learn from that narcissistic boss? What did you learn? What lessons could you take from that? What did you learn from the betrayal? Oh yeah, you've been betrayed. You've been betrayed big time. That thing cut you to your core. What did you learn from that? There are always lessons you can learn. What did you learn from that? What did you learn from not budgeting your money? What did you learn from being homeless? What did you learn from gaining wealth? What did you learn from not having enough money to pay your bills? What did you learn? You don't need anyone's permission to teach and educate people on what you learn. You just need to find the right people who want to learn what you have to teach or who wants to receive the information that you have. And that's another thing. A lot of you all, this is why you have to get online or get in front of people who are going to appreciate what you have. A lot of you all have wisdom and you want to give it to the people that you love. You want to give it to the people that you care about. You want to give it to the people that you think could benefit from it because they kin to you and they skin to you, right? That means they're blood or they may look like you. No, that's not how that goes. Because sometimes just because you're the person that is given the wisdom, the people who you want to receive it won't receive it because it's you. You're familiar. So you have to go. That's why I understand now why God told me to get online. He told me to get online because my wisdom succeed far past me. My wisdom is beyond me. And it's beyond those who I wanted to give it to. It's beyond the people who I wanted to give it to. So that's why he told me to get online. I didn't want to get online. But because I was so full of the wisdom and it was almost driving me nuts, right? He told me to get online and use my voice and just started sharing experiences, sharing the knowledge and the wisdom that I have. And now I understand why. Yes, God's hood messenger. Yes, discipline. Yes, Rubia, the fruit of long suffering. I'm just saying the messages. That's a fruit that I have. I've always had that. I thought it was a bad thing because I didn't understand God's gifts and his fruits. I got to The fruit of long suffering. I suffer long with you. Sometimes to my own pain. But that's a fruit that I have. Now that I understand, see, that's another thing. That's why I tell people, you have to heal. You have to heal and get to know yourself. Heal and get to know yourself. Know why you do things the way you do it. Know why you think the way you think. You have to know yourself, but you can't heal because you're too busy trying to love on other people. And that is okay, but first you got to love on yourself. And you get to know yourself the way you're trying to get to know someone else. But you do not need anyone's permission. You don't need anyone's permission. And that's what I wanted to come and just beat in this message. You do not need anyone's permission. Only thing you need is to heal yourself, get a close relationship with God, and do what it is that He's telling you to do. Those three things. Heal you, seek God, and when you seek Him, He's going to tell you what you need to do and do what He told you to do. Have Him to order your steps. Walk by faith and not by sight. Because if you walk by sight, you're going to think about everything that you ever went through. And you're going to talk yourself out of why you can't do it. Oh, I can't do it because nobody else never did it in my family. Have you ever thought you the one that's going to do it? You the trailblazer. You the first to do it? Oh, I can't do it because of this. Because of my childhood. Have you ever thought that's the reason you can do it? Because of your childhood? And now you got the power and the resilience because of the trauma you experienced in your childhood that gave you that fight, gave you the resilience you need to get past the naysayers? Oh, I can't do it because of people don't like me. Have you ever thought the reason people don't like you is because they see the potential that you don't see in yourself? And you need them not to like you because it's going to push you even further? I'm trying to get rid of all the excuses here. Oh, I can't do it because I don't have any money. Have you ever thought if you got a phone in your hand, you don't need no extra money? You don't need no extra money. Turn on your phone, turn on the camera on your phone, and get to talking. Get to doing. Use your camera to do what it is you want people to notice or, you want to do. Turn that phone on and upload that stuff to YouTube. They'll pay you for what it is that you're doing. They'll pay you for what it is. So we can't keep making excuses. We can't keep making excuses. So that's what I want to talk to you all about. You don't need anyone else's permission. You don't need, if you need you don't need no more confirmations either. Because we like confirmation. You don't need any more confirmations. You don't got all the confirmations. Your confirmation, you know what your confirmation was? That you woke up this morning. You opened your eyes. That's your confirmation. Hi, Lucy and Frankie. Look, your confirmation is when you did this morning. That's your confirmation. Confirmation is that you up breathing, you watching me, I'm up. That's my confirmation. Now, knowing that I don't need any more confirmations, I need to get the knowledge. I need to get the knowledge that will help me. I need to start listening to people that I can model, because you don't have to do anything else, because you got people that are already doing what you want to do. Now, I got to listen to people who I can model after them. And I don't care if you got 100 people doing what it is that you're doing. It still won't be done how you're going to do it. So that's not an excuse. I always tell people, I go to Publix, I stay in Publix, in Aldi. but mostly Publix. When I go down Publix and I go down the bread aisle, I see all sorts of bread. Wonder Bread, Nature's Owl, organic bread. I see all those different varieties of breads. It's all bread. But there's different varieties of bread. They taste different. The packaging looks different. They got different ingredients. That's how you have to look at it. That's how you have to look at it. God gave me a revelation when I was trying to make excuses years ago. I tried to make excuses for not wanting to do what he was calling me to do. And he gave me that revelation about the bread. He gave me that bread revelation. And I'm like, you know what? I ain't got no more excuses. I got to just get over myself, heal my issues, what I got going on, and do what it is that he told me to do. He showed me that bread analogy. And I said, you know what? I can't make no more excuses. Either I'm going to do what he's just calling me to do, or sit and complain. Or sit and complain. And I started doing the work on myself. I started doing the inner work on me. I started healing me. I started getting rid of the things and the people and what I felt was holding me back. Whatever God showed me was holding me back, I had to get rid of it. And it is hard. It is hard. I'm not going to lie. It's hard. It's hard. But that is how you know you're doing the right thing. Because when it's hard for you, you're going in the right direction. When you don't want to make the decision, that's the right decision. When it's hard to make the decision, that's the right decision. That's the right decision when it comes to your purpose. When I saw all them breads, every time I go down there, I see all them breads. I see all the different labels and they're different prices too. That's another thing, they're different prices. So you can't compare what you're doing to someone else. You can't compare. So you don't need permission. You don't need no more affirmations, confirmations, no counter-ations. You don't need permission. You just need to get, like I said, heal your relationship with God and do what he told you to do, your obedience. And it's not going to be easy. Of course, when you get your relationship, he's going to teach you got to be focused and disciplined. And your life is not going to look like it's looking. You're not going to be able to do all of the things you've been doing. You can't be there for everybody you've been there for. You can't go places you've been going. Because now your focus is different. And when your focus is different, you see that you don't have that much time in a day. We don't have that much time. So that's what I want to talk to you about. Okay? So y'all be blessed. I got to go in here. Got to get ready to go. So be blessed. And I'll talk to you all later.